You know, one of my favorite things to do is stand up for the little guy. That's literally the backbone of this show. There is no better example of the little guy getting the shaft than when we have to deal with the IRS. Fortunately, under the Trump administration, we have people that are actually in touch with the public. John Rich, for example, special envoy to American landowners, has stepped in, and listen to how this went.
Just heard about Mr. Kirby, the farmer in Tennessee, who the IRS is threatening to seize his property for him not making payments on a refund that he never asked for, nor was it his. According to the facts, is how I know them now. He tried to return the money, and as we all know, sometimes the IRS just is a labyrinth of complexity.
This is a crazy story, and I'm telling you all this in case there's anyone else out there with a similar situation. There is help for you, especially now. But also, this ends well, and it's Friday, and I like to talk about a win on Friday. So in 2021, under Biden, a local Tennessee farmer named Mr. Kirby filed his taxes dutifully, like he does every single year, and was supposed to get an $1,100 refund. Instead of sending him just $1,100, the IRS actually sent him over $20,000. And Kirby was like, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right. So he makes multiple calls, not one, not two, multiple calls to the IRS to let them know that they've made a mistake because he doesn't even use a computer. He's using the phone. He wrote them letters and things like that. You know how hard it is to get an IRS agent on the phone? Pretty hard. They blamed it on COVID, but oddly enough, COVID didn't stop them from sending all the bills to us to pay our taxes. Anyway, he couldn't get anyone to answer the phone for years, by the way, years, to figure out why this money was sent and all that stuff. So he has his accountant reach out. They couldn't get in touch with anybody either. At which point, he should have been allowed to just keep the money as far as I'm concerned. Keep in mind, Mr. Kirby is in his 70s. He's not like some international bank robber fleecing people. So he puts this money in this side account and just lets it sit there until he could get somebody on the phone. This went on for 4 years. Then, in early January of 2025, Mr. Kirby received a letter from the IRS telling him to send the $20,000 back with interest. So according to his accountant, he immediately sent all the money back, the full $20,000 amount, to the IRS. They cashed the check at the IRS on January 1st, 2025, but he didn't pay them any interest because he didn't know it to him. At that point, Mr. Kirby's CPA set up an appointment at the Hopkinsville, Kentucky IRS field office. Mr. Kirby went with the agent, and the agent had him fill out this abatement form to explain why he didn't owe the interest on this money. Basically because it should never have been sent to him in the first place. The IRS waited 18 more months from that time, and then they denied his petition and is still holding Mr. Kirby responsible for the interest on the money the IRS mistakenly sent him in the first place. Folks, this is maddening. And this year, the IRS withheld Mr. Kirby's $1,873 refund that was due to him from his regular income as a payment towards the interest on the $20K that they sent him in error 4 years ago. Look, I know most of you at home, none of you are surprised with this level of incompetence at a government agency. But just a quick reminder, the same government that wants you and I to pass a competency test to exercise our Second Amendment rights, the people incompetent enough to screw this up this bad, they're also armed, as you can see in this video. That was their training video. Right. So fast forward to this month, July 4th of all days, 2026, the IRS sent him a letter stating intent to put a levy against his farm to pay the interest on the $20K. They sent him that by mistake, and now the lien is now scheduled to take place in the coming weeks, where they intend to seize his property. Yeah, right. However, thankfully, to avoid armed conflict, John Rich has stepped in, and as of this afternoon, it looks like this actually may be solved.
These are the kinds of things that I think the Trump administration cares about, just regular citizens who are running into situations that are so maddening. Nobody's ever listened to them before. Rest assured, Mr. Kirby's farm ain't going anywhere. It's going to stay right there with him.
Now, I spoke to John Rich, who's a good buddy of me, just before coming on this show on air, and he said this is being expedited to a resolution at the highest levels. The White House got involved. Look, And good on the head of the IRS, the new head of the IRS, for getting this done. But what about the people who have this problem that didn't get noticed by John Rich, or any media for that matter? When you have CPAs and yourself not able to get in contact with a civil servant serving, you can't penalize people for that. Now, the bigger problem is how we got here. First, the IRS should have never sent him the 20 grand. Their mistake, okay? Second, why could an ordinary citizen not reach the IRS agents with ease? They work for us, and they should have sent an agent to his house if they couldn't reach him. If you can send 100 agents to raid Mar-a-Lago in the middle of the night to get a note written on a napkin that you thought might have been classified, you can send a local agent to an old farmer's house. Third, once he got to speak with a local agent, why was this not wrapped up immediately? Like, how could any human with an IQ above a pineapple not see this and say, yep, sorry about that, we're going to take care of it, and it's over? That agent clearly is not qualified to work for any government agency and should probably be fired immediately and never allowed to work for any level of government ever again. And fourth, and this is the most important thing, there's a law that says they can't do this. That is there to protect this man from this type of thing that everybody this guy talked to in every step of this has ignored that law. 26 U.S. Code 6404E2, the provision on mandatory abatement of interest on certain erroneous refunds. Here is the statutory text, Section 2. The Secretary shall, not may, not should, shall abate the assessment of all interest on any erroneous refund under Section 6602 until the date demanded for repayment is made. Holy rusted metal, Batman. And since he tried like hell to pay it back and no one picked up the phone at the IRS, it must be forgiven. But more importantly, everyone, I'm talking scorched earth, everyone in the government who has ever had so much as been CC'd on an email about this guy's case should be charged with a crime. Not only should Mr. Kirby get to keep the 20 grand that they accidentally sent him, it should be paid out of the pocket of Biden's IRS director when they made this error, Dan Werfel. These laws are in place to protect you, me, and Mr. Kirby and everyone in America. Yet every single person in the chain of custody of this incident violated the law, and it caused this man 5 years of agita. Not a single IRS agent or federal worker will change a thing after this story unless there are real consequences. If I stiffed the IRS for 20 grand over 5 years, they would lock me up. So, Mr. President, how about we send a message that the people paid by our tax dollars cannot violate the laws they are taxed to enforce without consequences?
He loves the Constitution. He fights for what's right. He hates the bad guys. He's a freedom warrior. He's your freedom warrior. Watch Carl Higbie every weekday on Newsmax.